All right, so we need, everybody's got their safety equipment on, right? Everyone's finding goggles in the drawers. Okay, they are not pretty. You will have goggle face for at least an hour after this class. On picture day, I'm sorry about that. Because I'm the teacher, I get the nice goggles. If you don't want to have really bad goggle face, just loosen the straps a little bit. All right? But the key thing here, guys, is this. Listening, please. The goggles need to stay over your eyes until I tell you that the lab is finished. Okay, and that is that everybody is done. Because there are a couple of substances here that, were you to get them in your eye, would cause pretty severe damage and exquisite, excruciating pain. All right, so we don't want to be dealing with that. Now, in terms of materials, where can I find everything? All right, your conductivity testers and pH paper are on the cart up here. You need one per table/group. Okay, thermometers right here on the main table. You need, again, one per group. All right, your depression plates are right beside them, and there is a marker next to those. I would write A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to J above each one of the depressions, so you remember which one is which when you're adding and doing the tests. All right. All of the unknown substances are up here. They're in no particular order. All right, but you can put them in where they belong. How many members of your group do you suppose need to actually come up here to get this stuff? One. Otherwise, it is a total gong show up here. All right? It's a total gong show up here anyway, but let's just make it a smaller gong. All right? So, one member of each group can come up and grab, well, not yet, those materials. The last thing that you need is the wash bottle that contains your distilled water. And that is located back here in the cupboard. If you happen to get a wash bottle that is nearly empty, okay, there is a big container over by the sink that contains distilled water. Fill it about half full. Don't fill it all the way up, okay, just fill it about half full, and that'll be way more than you'll need for this lab. In fact, what's in this wash bottle is probably going to be way more than you need for this lab. All right, so I would say don't even bother filling it until it's completely empty. Okay, the last thing, and this is only going to be really important at the end of the lab, so everyone really needs to pay attention. In the fume hood is this pail labeled pig hearts, because that's what used to be in there. All right, what is in there now is a vial concoction of various chemicals. This is where you rinse your depression plate at the end of the lab. So vile, it's making me cough. Okay, so when you're done, carefully carry your depression plate over here with your wash bottle, spray it off, try and get most of the chunk stuff to fall in there, then you can clean it in your sink. Everybody follow? Okay, really important that none of the waste goes down the sink directly. Everybody clear on that? Because some of the stuff is heavy metals. We don't want that getting into the sewage plant / ecosystem. Okay, that's all bad. All right, so make sure you rinse it in there. Last safety thing. If you do happen to get any of the stuff on your hands, okay, immediately turn on your sink, put your hand underneath the water, and hold it there for at least 2 minutes. Okay? Cold water, well, that's all that comes out of your sinks. Okay? You don't have hot and cold. All right. Are there any questions before you get started? All right. If you have questions while you're doing the lab, please ask. At this point, everyone should have goggles on. Okay? All right. Have at her there, guys. Okay, one quick thing here, guys. Something everybody needs to know. I forgot to tell you guys this. I told my other classes, but I forgot to tell you. An important thing to know about sample D. Okay, D is a crystalline solid. I know here it looks like a liquid, but it is not a liquid. It is a crystalline solid. but we can't buy it that way. Okay, we can only buy it in a supersaturated aqueous form. All right, so when you look at substance D, it is already dissolved in water, and it was a crystalline solid initially. Okay, so really important for you to understand, D is not a liquid. Okay, D is a solution already. Oh, sorry, Brad. All right, so now that you've got all of your data and everything, okay, you're going to need to make a copy of this chart right here, okay, for your analysis. Don't just fill in the one that's on the front page. All right, I want to have a separate one in your analysis so your report goes in order. What you have to do now, okay, look at your results for sample A. Tell me whether it was ionic or molecular, and then tell me which thing it is. All right, you're going to have to probably look at all of its results in order to figure that out. Okay, you have to look at, was it crystalline? Did it conduct electricity? What was its pH? Use all of that stuff to figure it out. Okay, you know that the possible identities, all right, are at the top there. Okay, we gave them to you already, so you can fairly easily fill that out. Okay, that's your analysis. Okay, that's essentially all you have to do there. Right, for your conclusion, you restate your hypothesis. Tell me whether you were able to identify all those compounds based on their physical properties, etc. Then you got your evaluation. Were there any sources of error in the lab that interfered with your ability to do it properly? How would you fix them in the future? Things like that. Suggestions for improvement. Okay? The class discussion you do not need to answer at this time. It is something that we will go through after I have marked your labs and handed them back to you. Those are things you're going to want to write down because those are the things that usually come up on unit exams, etc. Right? But they do not have to be done on your lab report. Okay, they're things for you to keep in mind, but they don't have to be answered on your lab report. The big analysis for this lab is filling this chart in, okay, and figuring out what each one of those unknown samples was. All right? Are there any questions on that? Now, if you think any of your data is suspect or you weren't here when we did the lab, okay, you go to my website and the lab data for this lab, okay, is in Science 10 Notes and Assignments. Data and observations for labs. Okay, click on that. It's the only one there because we've only done one lab. Okay, chemistry lesson 456 compounds lab data. All right, it's my website. Just go there. Okay, just go to Redeemer and scroll through till you get to teacher websites to find me. Okay. It'll be due on Monday, September. What is that? The 16th. 13, 14. Yeah, 16th. Yeah. Okay, so on Monday, September 16th, that's when it'll be due. Okay, and if you have questions, come and see me. If you need me to look over your lab before Monday, bring it in either Thursday or Friday, or email it to me as long as it isn't 2 o'clock in the morning Sunday night. All right, that's not going to work. Everybody follow? Okay.